This is from Dave, who's following our Couch to 70.3 plan that he got on Training Peaks. Hi, Wendy. My training plan started last week. And since I don't train with a power meter, how do I determine FTP if I don't have a power meter, Coach?
So for our audience who doesn't know, FTP stands for functional threshold power, and it's primarily used for the bike, although there are some foot pods out there and there are ways to measure power with running, your functional threshold run power. So if you don't have a power meter and you do want to know your functional threshold power, I think the best way to do that is to ride indoors on a smart trainer with a certain app like Zwift or Trainer Road, who has power. If you ride Zwift or Trainer Road with a smart trainer, you can use that power from your smart trainer to do the test. And those two apps do have the functional threshold power test in various formats. It could be your traditional 20-minute test, or it's a ramp test. Or you could maybe find an indoor bike at a local health club that also uses power, and you can do a standard test protocol on an indoor bike at a local facility. I know when I lived in Colorado, they actually had performance training centers that I knew of that they had CompuTrainers set up, so people could bring in their own bike and set it up on a CompuTrainer, and they could do threshold testing there. And so my next comment would be, if you don't have a power meter on your bike, why would you want to do a functional threshold power test if you're not going to train outdoors specifically on your bike because it doesn't have a power meter? So the next comment would be is you're probably trying to determine your training zones. And if you don't want to train by power, you could train by pace or heart rate or your common rate of perceived effort. And so within our training plans, we have different training zone protocols that you can use and use another form rather than power to monitor your intensity and follow the zones that we recommend for during the details of the training session.
Yeah, you better be detailed on keeping track if it's on rate of perceived effort, because your effort on one day you might feel great and it might feel easy. The next time it might feel like, oh, this is average. That seems like a tough one. And even heart rate varies based on your health, your sleep, hydration, your fitness level. So if you can get a power meter, that'll be a little more accurate.
Yeah, and so to answer the question, because FTP is functional threshold power, the best way to determine it is with a power meter, whether you buy a power meter or you use an app or if you go somewhere else to measure it. Otherwise, we got to talk about other measures of intensity to set your training zones.